It was a Supercross from the 1970s. I was not expecting to see you in the mix, JB, but you were right up in there, dude, in the top 5. It was great.
Dude, Ken, he gets an old damn joke in there about once a weekend. He's like, were you battling Glover that night or Hannah?
Dude, I have to. It's literally the only thing I can harp on you about. Like, you don't give me any ammunition.
Yeah, and it's
JB and AC. The energy was awesome. Those two are just like really finding their groove.
4 straight overall wins. $100,000. Adam Cianciarulla. Checkered flag and Justin Brady. Cianciarulla has won the 2019 Webb Moto Pro Championship. He's gonna do it to become the oldest winner in the history of Supercross.
Adam, I don't know about you, but I've never been so happy in my life to get inside a heated house. The heat's on about 72 right now in the Brayton household, and I'm thawed out. Finally. Have you thawed out yet from Houston?
I don't think so. It was cold outside in Houston. I think on Saturday it was in the 30s maybe. But in the stadium, I have never been inside a stadium and been that cold before in my life.
It was freezing.
We just had the long sleeve dress shirts for RDL, and you saw me in between takes shivering. And when we had any guests on and we stood up, I don't know if you looked at my legs. I'm sure the viewers could see it, but my legs were trembling, dude. I was like shaking. People probably thought I was so nervous I was about to puke, but I was really just cold. It's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah,
but other than that, I think that you and I, with the job that we do, I think Triple Crowns are more fun for us.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of bikes on track during RDL. It's go, go, go. We got to call the LCQs. Oh, I'm way bigger of a fan of Triple Crowns now that I'm on this side.
Yep.
As a rider, they're very difficult. But for us, they're awesome, dude.
Yeah, they are awesome because when you think about Race Day Live, it's a qualifying show. So how can we make qualifying more important? Which on a regular race day, it's important. It's gate pick for the heat race and kind of some bragging rights. All that's true. But for Triple Crown, it just makes it fun to see that 18th place cutoff. And guys like Justin Hill, who we were talking about a lot, was on the outside looking in. He ended up having to go through the last chance qualifier. And then with it being so important for your gate pick as well, with Tomac qualifying fastest, he had first gate pick for the first race, which matters. So we don't have to build it up at all. It takes care of itself. And then on a track like that was pretty fast, but there was some big mistakes made as well, like through those rhythm lanes. It was a good weekend. It was a lot of fun. Had a blast.
We probably spent 30 minutes of the show talking about that single table in the rhythm section before the finish.
Mm-hmm. And
we spotted on press day. We knew it was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So difficult on a track that's that fast, because in a section like that, you have to take your time. And when you're pushing that hard, you kind of forget. And dude, we saw all sorts of chaos in that rhythm. But before we get into the 450s, I got to say it was cool to have my buddy Lawson on the show this week. Dude, I thought he crushed it. We got him in there last minute. For those that don't know, Lawson Craddock, former professional cyclist, runs his dad's roofing company now. Houston local, one of my best friends, started playing Call of Duty together, and it's been all uphill ever since. But, dude, I thought he crushed it.
I love his perspective. And
yeah.
Look, I know why you guys are good friends. I know, because I can already tell he likes to get deep and talk about life.
Oh, yeah.
Because he did on Race Day Live. He was talking about just the journey that we're all on and what it takes to become a professional athlete and what it takes to be in the Tour de France, which he's done multiple times. So he's a world tour rider. He's won the U.S. time trial national champs a couple times. He's an Olympian, like one of the most decorated U.S. cyclists we've ever had. So for me, being a cycling fan, and I was a fan of Lawson, it was the first time I met him this weekend, but I've been a fan of his for a long time. So, but I can tell why you guys are best friends.
Well,
it's cool.
It's interesting because the dialogue with Lawson and I is 99% just complete crazy talk nonsense. Like, it's like he's my soulmate or something, dude. Like, yeah. we say stuff that would not make sense to anybody else, and we just roll with it. And then it's 1% like philosophical conversation.
Yeah.
But that's how I was nervous having them on the show. I'm like, well, they're coming. We got them some tickets. Why not? I was nervous. I'm like, I didn't want to be unprofessional because he just made, I look at him and I just start laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And when he started spitting facts like that, I'm like, dude, he should call NBC and he should be a part of the tour broadcast. 100%, dude. He'd be great at that.
Yeah. Has he thought about it?
I think so. I think he may have gotten offered to do it before, but guys, I mean, for those that don't know Lawson or cycling or whatever, how about that transition from being a Tour de France guy, 7 hours on your bicycle every day, and now he's running a roofing company. And I love to see it. I spent some time with him this week. I had dinner at his house. We had dinner on Thursday as well. And it's cool to see your friends succeed in the next life. You know, it's always like a massive, you've been through it, I've been through it. It's a massive undertaking. So shout out to my buddy. We can get into some 450 stuff now, but shout out to Lawson Craddock. That's my guy.
And he seems happier than ever.
He does.
So
he truly does.
The transition can be tough. He talked about putting how many kids does he have? Two,
yeah.
He talked about putting his kids to bed at night, or, you know, being on world tours, like the Tour de France is a month long. So you basically just don't see your family for a month, and I can't imagine. I wish I would have talked to him more off camera, and I have some questions about the tour.
He'll be back around, no
like
doubt.
What they eat. I mean, I don't know. If we have any fans out there, I'm sure we do, or listeners that are fans of cycling, and just imagine what they go through riding the Tour de France. I cannot imagine. So,
how about breaking your scapula on stage 1, 2018 Tour de France, and finishing the race? That is nuts. He tells me that he still has problems with his jaw because it hurt so bad that he spent 21 days like clenching his jaw.
Really?
Dude, that is nuts. Yeah, and that's when Houston flooded, and he raised like $500,000 or something for Houston, rebuilt the velodrome that he learned to ride a bicycle in. So he's total hometown hero.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, I do want to thank you. Next subject. Thanks for being cool to Beckham. I brought my son, got an 8-year-old son, Beckham. He hung out the whole weekend with us. He's a big Adam Cianciarulo fan. He talks about you all the time. So thanks for being cool. You guys walked the track together on press. Got to hang out.
Bex is my guy, dude.
It was fun. What a good time. So
he's a good kid. And you guys, you've been on the mini dad grind lately, and we're building for St. Louis.
Oh yeah. We hope. We have
not
got confirmation, not gotten full confirmation that we're in for St. Louis, but I believe we're in for one of them later in the year, which we haven't talked about this. I had more canceled flights this weekend. We've got 8 inches of snow when I look outside here in Charlotte. It's been crazy. So we have not been riding at all. So the plan is to get him in a later round so we can at least do a little prep. We need some more prep, AC. It's not been great. So
ship him out.
Yeah.
Ship him out, dude. I got a couple days. I got a couple days of flexibility during the week. We can hit Fox Raceway, Glen Helen.
There we go.
I'll get him right. I will get him right.
I did tell him this weekend, I'm like, hey, Adam was like the best 50 rider on the planet. And he was like, really? So then he runs up to you, Adam, were you the best 50 rider on the planet or something? And you're like, I don't know, man.
He was like, he said, were you the best 50, 60, and 85 rider of all time? And I'm like, well, I won some races, but all time, that's a crazy conversation. I don't know.
Yeah, so that was fun. We had a good time. But
so we were doing our picks this weekend, and we've been high. We've been high in the 96 for good reason.
Yeah,
I picked him to win, which I don't like. We kind of have to make our picks on the show. It's a requirement. I don't like doing that. I don't, because I don't think it comes across very objective, right? But I said this, and I'm glad I did. I'm really glad I did. So nobody picked Cooper Webb. This is the first. He made a comment after A2, said something about that was the nail in the coffin. I saw this coming. I really did.
You did,
and as I was making my pick for Hunter, I did turn to you and I said, look, we've all just stopped talking about Cooper Webb. And you know what happens when we do that. It is insane. It is like clockwork. The sky is blue. And when Cooper Webb has his back against the wall, the guy just figures it out. And on that style of racetrack, very fast. There was some ruts. It did break down a little bit, but it's not your typical 20+1 where they're going super low in the turns. And there was nothing about that racetrack, or even the format, like the more sprint style format, shorter motos. There was nothing about anything that was going on in Houston that favored Cooper Webb. There was no reason why he should win the race, but he did. Cooper Webb is back. He is back in the mix, JB. He's right there, dude.
I like how. How does he win that? Look, we're going to have Ken Roczen on here in a little bit, but there's always these little defining moments. Like you actually say it great about Jet. You say in any, which I'll let you say it, but what do you say about Jet? Like the decision making, he makes basically the right decision in every scenario where it's like, what do I do here? Right? Is that kind of your thought on Jet?
I do. Yeah. I think when we talk about what mental strength is, and this is funny, Ryan Hughes posted something on his Instagram one time. It was like a screenshot of a direct message to Cooper Webb. Mm-hmm. And he had just won a race or done something. And Cooper explained it himself, like the mental strength and where he thinks he makes the gains or whatever. And I screenshotted it. I'm like, I want to know what this dude is thinking about. And so these are his words, but his ability, Cooper's ability, Jet's ability, same thing, to stay calm in the moment. When your heart rate's at 190, it's really easy to make a bad decision. But those guys, they always make the right call, JB.
That's what's crazy is he makes the right decision in those scenarios. But then what also has to happen that's a little bit different to Jet is other people have to make the wrong decision around him. And that seems to happen like all the time. So it's, I mean, what's he have now? 31 wins. He's a 3-time champ. He's 17 points down. He came into the weekend 24 points down. If he goes down 30, the nail is in the coffin. It's in.
No doubt.
So now he's down 17. He gets the win. Like, I mean, I think you were saying, like, he's going to win it, man. Like, he's just back. And these guys are in trouble now. It's as simple as that. He's back.
Even if he was 20 points down with 6 races to go, still, you kind of got to give him the nod as the favorite almost at that point. Huh? Yeah. And I'll tell you this. I agree with you. It seems like Coop makes the right decisions. Wow. And then everything falls into place for him. Like a rider going down, like Tomac's crash in the second race, or Hunter's crash in the first one. And this is a valuable lesson that I think I've learned throughout my life. The universe doesn't respond to anything but belief. And Cooper has done this for so long. And he's come out on top so many times that in his head, why wouldn't it work out?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it? I think so many of us and so many just people in society in general, I think, we can, and even Coop, I'm sure at times has gotten in his own way. That's kind of human nature a little bit. But it just seems like the ultra belief that he has in himself, I really don't look at it as luck. Like when it falls into place for him, I just think his mind, his beliefs, I think the quality of your thoughts affects so much of your life, results, everything. And yeah, I mean, we could spend all day talking about this, but that guy's just got it, man.
Yeah, I tried to put myself in a different headspace the last half of that last race when Kenny had to pass Coop to win. Coop had to hold off Kenny to win. They both knew it. And then I tried to think, because a lot of times Coop, we talk about him low in the turns, like he wins races in unique ways. I was just thinking, like, I was trying to put myself inside Coop's helmet on what would he be thinking. And like how would he be approaching the track? And we just got done talking about how the track was fairly fast, but it also got really technical. The backside of that tabletop was really, really tough, which you said we talked about a bunch on Race Day Live, and for good reason. Like there was a ton of mistakes there. And with as good as Kenny's been all year, one little mistake through these very technical rhythm lanes, and Coop does not win. So I tried to put myself there, and for the last like 6 or 7 laps, I'm like, all right, he has to put his bike just perfect on the backside of that table. And he was actually coming into that section faster than most guys. And we know if you got to be patient there, right? You got to be patient, put your bike up over, get down the backside of that table. Dude, he was coming in faster than most guys. And he nailed the backside of that. I mean, like clockwork, the last 6 or 7. Like it just really, look, I can't have any more respect for Cooper Webb. I'm friends with him. I've known Coop since he was battling you on his 150. So I can't have any more respect, but that really showed me once again to not question not only his ability to stay in the moment, but his ability to be a great rider, like technically sound. And I'm starting to get to the point of, I think we even mentioned it last week, like when Coop has won these titles, we've never really talked about his speed because we talk about Chase so much and we talk about Jet so much and Kenny and their technique and all that. Man, I'm going to start talking about Cooper Webb and his ability to be technically sound when it matters most, late in these races, when the track is at its worst. That's a whole different skill. That's a different skill than trying to go fast in a qualifying lap that we seem to praise a lot, which for good reason, but also, man, Cooper freaking Webb, he's back.
He always identifies like that single table, for example. It's all he knows he's not the fastest dude. So he identifies all these little spots, and we were speaking about it watching practice. So I mean, there wasn't one single guy that didn't mess up that section. Mm-hmm. And it's like he figures out where he can make the time, like where he can be a little better. And maybe he's all out max still 0.8 of a second slower than Tomac. But Tomac may overshoot that single table a couple times, lose a second in that rhythm section, and Cooper Webb's not going to do that.
Yeah.
Like it's the small attention to detail. It's the calmness under pressure. I never even after his first few rounds, uncharacteristic mistakes, I never really hit the panic button internally. But I don't know. I don't think people are surprised at this point. But we should be pretty damn amazed because it's pretty special how he is able to just reverse engineer it and just figure it out. And again, now we're going to Glendale, another track that he got a podium at last year. And that was a big thing for him because his average result there has been like an 8th or 7th, something like that. But wouldn't surprise me at all if he figured it out. Glendale too.
And what's like when we mentioned like he does everything right at the right time, but it also took Hunter, who rarely makes mistakes. I mean, he's about as solid as a rock can be, right? Real. Is for him to make a small little mistake on the smallest double on the track and go off the track and fall. It also took Eli Tomac to go flying over the handlebars and stomp his rear brake on the face of a tabletop that he never does. And it also took a teammate to stuff another teammate for Coop to get past him, Anderson on Kenny, which Anderson didn't mean to do it. But it took all those things, and then it also took Coop to perform at the highest pressure moment of the day, and he does. Like, once again, it's not a surprise, but still, when you think about the things that have to add up for him to be back in this title fight, is like, it's crazy. And it happens year after year after year. So, like, to your point, it's not luck. It's not luck.
Absolutely not. Again, kids out there listening, and you know me, JB, I'm a Jesus guy. But in terms of like athletic performance and all this stuff, you can go help old ladies cross the street all day long, hold doors open for people, do all these good deeds, donate to charity, and it's not going to make all the pieces fall into place on Saturday. The universe responds to belief, and that's why It just seems like Cooper Webb sometimes parts. He parts the Red Sea, dude.
Yes,
It's just you just shake your head and you're like, it's only something that he can do. And with the amount of talent that's on the field right now, to have such like a unique, intangible skill like that, it's really fun to watch. But yeah, I know. Look, you're a 96 guy. Last week on the show, you stamped it. He's winning this title. He's winning this title. You're still ready.
You're
still ready to give the trophy away right now.
I'm more ready than ever.
So we just move on outdoors at this point.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah. But Deegan on a 450, let's go race outdoors.
It was a kind of a weird crash for him. And I don't know what it is about the plywood, but it's
concrete. It was concrete, but it's the same.
Concrete?
Yeah, it's like ice, folks. It's like ice.
Yeah, uncharacteristic mistake for him, but bounced back well. And I like this position for Hunter because of where he's at, I think mentally, because everybody on the outside right now is like, when's Hunter going to win? When's Hunter going to win? The worst thing that you can do as a racer is focus on the end result. Focus. And it's easy to. I mean, think about it. Winning a supercross race, that's something that he's had in mind since he started riding a dirt bike. Like, he wants it more than anything. And I think this would be tough for most people. Like, getting second, being good enough to win, but coming up a little short. But, dude, he's in a perfect spot. He really is. Solid on the bike. He's gotten faster.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I get where you're coming from, JB. I'm not ready to give the trophy away yet, though.
I'm partly kidding, of course.
I know.
But I will say, man, I just go back to the stat. It sounds dumb, but it's the stat of first lap position. I would bet the house on Hunter's going to have the best first lap average of anybody, and typically that wins you championships. And we had a question on Race Day Live this past weekend of, does Hunter have to win? And we both agreed he doesn't have to win. He didn't have to win this past weekend. He doesn't have to win this weekend in Glendale. But if he can keep getting seconds and thirds, and these guys go back and forth around him, and he's just collecting points, that's what it's going to come down to. He's going to win one. There's no question. If he stays healthy this year, he keeps putting himself in that position that he's top 2 or 3 off the start every time the gate falls. No question he wins one. And he knows that. The team around him knows that. And I think he's been publicly saying that even on the podium, just keep doing my thing, keep putting myself in this position, and good things will happen. And I think he proved this weekend he has more speed than ever. You think about those first couple races and with them being shorter, he was right there as fast as anybody this weekend. So, yeah, I mean, if we're talking title favorites as we sit here today, it's hard to look past him. It just is. And I know Tomac's got the championship lead, and he's as good as ever and has had the best start of his career through the first 3. I don't know what the stats are now through 4, but of course it'd be awesome to see Eli win, and he's as capable as anyone or more than anyone out there. But I don't know. I like Hunter's starts for the long haul, his consistency out of the gate for 17 weekends.
Last thing on Hunter, I think it's really easy for me to root for him. And I've said this before. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. But the beginning of just everything, really, the beginning of his career, how he had to kind of lay the groundwork for Jet in Europe. It was a struggle. They didn't have money. He grinded it out. Comes to America. It's not going great. He's thinking about quitting. And then Jet comes up, and Jet is the best thing we've ever seen on a dirt bike in my life. So I think just in general, just maybe because I've kind of been through some similar things, I just have a lot of respect for the dude. It's a pretty special career arc. And just the way he's been able to respond to adversity. Think about it, JB. I mean, it is very hard. We had Joey Savacci on the show this weekend talking about his goals to be 5 to 8. And you and I know how difficult that is.
Yeah.
And just think about the time where Hunter was like, well, I'm just going to do Jets tear-offs, basically. And he builds himself back up, gets a factory 450 ride. He's a podium guy, top 5 guy. How easy would it be after being through all that to just settle and just be good with that? You can make a great living doing that. And I love that he hasn't settled. And I love that he literally has made the step. He has made the step from being that fringe podium guy to a legit championship contender. And if he's this good, Supercross, which has been, I would say, not a weakness, but of the 3 different disciplines, I would say it's his weakest one.
Yeah. No
Imagine what we're going to be in for outdoors in the playoffs, dude. Guy's unreal. And I did watch the post-race show, and Will Christian interviewed Johnny O. And I just got to give a shout out to Johnny O too. That's one of my favorite guys in the sport. Talk about somebody that's been there and done it. And he has always been just so kind to me all the time. Super humble. So shout out Johnny O. Speaking of first lap position, JB, Prado out of the gate. It's automatic.
Yes, it is.
It's automatic. And I think this weekend we looked at each other sometime during that first main event, and we both were like, dude, we did not think Prado was going to be this good. Like, he has, talk about turning the corner. What did you say to me? You said you did not see him hit one single corner, like how he was riding out front in that race. You hadn't seen that for a half a lap last year. I mean, talk about getting it out the mud.
Yes. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, what do you even say? Like, it's almost like we're all so maybe not even surprised is the right word, because, and I think we even said this in a show last year, we're both going to just give him a free pass of like, all right, 2025 didn't happen. We're going to reset. But I even think it's better than we thought
I do.
It could have been. Like, yeah. I mean, 5 to 10, a lot of 8s, a lot of 9s, some 10s was kind of what I thought. But he's good. He's legit good. And I can see him start getting the belief that he belongs up there. And once he does get that belief, laps, when the track starts to go away, especially in a regular main event, 20 minutes plus a lap, that 15-minute mark, the track really starts to change. And I think if he can start to figure out his style or what he needs to do when the track gets so broken down, which I would recommend studying a guy like Cooper Webb, right? If he can start figuring that out, he's going to start to go the distance, 20 minutes, no problem. He's obviously fit. And yeah, what's his ceiling? Like, he could be a consistent podium guy in 2027, which is crazy to sit here and say this. I mean, we would have never said that 4 weeks ago.
Nope.
But now I think everyone would agree with that.
Well, I will say, even last year, of course, we didn't like the way that he handled some things, but we never were like, Prado's a bad rider all of a sudden. Like, obviously, we knew he had more. Mm-hmm. But he's so good. He's so good at controlling the race from the front. When he gets a good start, I think one of the last pieces of the puzzle is just going to be figuring out, like in that last main, he didn't get a great start. And you can tell he just rides super tight, like especially the opening 4 or 5 laps, which, dude, it's hard to do. I mean, it's chaotic back there. Yeah. But once he can, and I think that will help with some confidence. But once he can figure that out, to bail himself out of some bad starts and kind of get back to 5th or 4th or something like that, sky's the limit. And he is legit. And this I am surprised about. He's legit one of the best guys in the whoops, like every time.
No question.
It's insane. Mm-hmm. Only last thing on Prado here. I heard some cross jump comments this weekend, JB.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think it's like an intentional thing. I don't know. Maybe it is. He's not trying to hurt anybody. It's just kind of the way that he races. But he does sometimes get a little squirrely, a little bit. You got to watch the front wheel.
Yeah, I don't even know I don't even know if I would call it a cross jump even. He's like fading into your line It's intentional. There's no question it's intentional.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But he's like fading into your line in the perfect way for you to give you enough time to break. 'Cause I seen him do it to Hunter one time through a rhythm lane. And it was like he gave Hunter enough time to hit the brakes, but also it messed him up so bad where there's no shot he could pass. So I don't know. I mean, the hard part is we're not on the track, so we don't know how bad it is, but I haven't seen a full-on cross jump. I've seen a lot of fading into your line through the rhythm lanes, which I don't know. There's a very, very gray area there. Very gray area.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm sure if I'm on the other side of it, I'm saying it's a cross jump and I'm not happy. So
yeah, for real. Hey, I had to get the positive. It's way more. I mean, it's 99% positive with Prado, but I don't know. I saw some comments in the latest video, and I see some people think I got something against Prado. Again, guys, I do not. All right, he broke my hand. He broke my hand.
He stole your ride, stole your beer deal, and broke your hand all in the same year.
Yeah, he did. He took some food off my plate, no doubt. Okay, but I'm a bigger man. I'm a bigger man than that. You know, JB. You know, I'm philosophical. Like I check myself. Like I'm not going to just let hate run rampant in my heart. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Prado. Definitely some gray area with the cross jumps, but hey, A's across the board so far for him this year. What else? 450s.
You know what I'm a fan of, AC?
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the way your bike looks. Shout out SKDA. You want to look like Adam Cianciarulo or myself or Hunter Lawrence, Ken Roczen, Jason Anderson. The list goes on. Jet Lawrence. You want to look like them? Go to skda.com. Check out their full line of graphics, seat covers, the whole bit. Your bike looks good, dude.
Your
bike
does.
looks good.
And since I got back from San Diego on Friday, the bike has been in the same spot in the garage.
Uh-oh.
Dirty.
Still dirty?
Dirty.
Oh, man.
Because you got to remember, I mean, that week before, I had to grind. Ashley and I put the graphics on the bike. So I'm like, dude, I need a break. You know, I need like 3 or 4 weeks to regroup, go to Temecula Motorsports, get some Simple Green or some Maxima Bio Wash, and we'll be.
Hey, did you tell me this weekend that who helped you put the seat cover on? Did Nick or Vincent?
Nick Way.
Oh, he did.
Yep. On Thursday night, I went over to Nick's house in his garage with Vince, Nick, Donovan was there as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, Vince hooked it up too with some sticky tape on the frame.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah, it was sick. But I do agree the SKDA, the graphic kit I have on the bike right now is legitimately one of my favorite kits I think I've ever had in my life.
Beckham did ask me, he's like, why is Adam's number plate green? I'm like, oh, just because he wanted it to be.
Absolutely. It's a nod to the Monster Cup bike, dude. That's what I thought of, because I never had anything like that before or since. And I'm like, why not? Let's just go all green. Weird crash for Tomac. JB, moving on to the next subject here. He said he smashed the rear brake with his foot. You are a very put together individual. You don't make these types of mistakes, but I certainly have been there. I have gone over the bars.
Me too, yes.
Yeah, I've gone over the bars because I mistook the brake for the foot peg. That's happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we've been there. And that section is really easy to do that because you come off, you go 3 onto the table, which you're going really fast. Then you go off right there, and just that little bit of clip. See his rear tire hit the single off. If you just go a little bit, you need to check yourself with the brake just a tiny bit to land on that single, the table over single. But when you clip that little bit, then it pushes your body a little bit more forward. You accidentally stomp the brake. Over he goes. I mean, it can happen so quick. I'm surprised it didn't happen to more guys because there's a really high speed section. You need to check up, need to slow down a little bit for that table over single right there. And yeah, just his body got too far forward with that tiny little clip right there. Just pushes him forward just a tiny bit. Yeah. Glad he's all right, man.
Podium speech. All right. Yeah, me too. I love his podium speech. It kind of reminded me of the scene out of Ricky Bobby. He's like, he said he was thinking to himself, I can't believe I have to jump through the bars right now.
So I'm like, wow, I really have to step through my bars right now.
I can't believe it. You know, that scene where it's like, I'm flying through the air, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I feel bad. I feel horrible for the ground when Tomac crashes. That's it.
I feel
That's the joke, dude. That guy is just looks like, again, is the only guy on the track, maybe Chase, that looks like they can snap the bars off the triple clamps.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't surprise me that he was fine afterwards. Rebounded well, got the last win. P4, if you're going to, and he said it, but if you're going to crash in a triple crown.
Well, here's how important that was. The results right here. So he goes 3-13-1. That's 17 points. He tied with Chase Sexton on 17. Anderson had 18, and Prado had 19. So if he comes back and goes 3-13-4 or something like that, he gets 7th or 8th overall. 7th most likely. Malcolm got 8th on 24 points. Dude, that's a bigger point swing than he would have liked. Even 4th is a bigger point swing than Eli would have liked, but still, what a save. And talk about, we've been there. We've crashed during races. I've crashed in a couple triple crowns where you have to come back and perform. And like, for him to do that, it shows so much grit, determination, whatever word you want to use. Dude, he's just such a bad dude. And when you were just talking about him hitting the ground, I'm not ready for him to be done. I was just fast forwarding like 2 or 3 years. And we were actually talking off the record in between RDL and the night show this weekend, like, how long do you think he races for? And we were just kind of bench racing about that. I hope he races for so many more years. I hope he's there for 5 more because we love watching him.
With the way that I think that maybe my favorite part of this story is that he is clearly enjoying himself. Because it's hard when like these athletes that we look up to and admire, and you know, we wish we could do the things that they do. And you know, a lot of the fans, obviously, dirt bikes are, if they could ride every day, they would. And so it's difficult when like your hero looks like he doesn't enjoy it that much. And dude, it's just so easy it's so much easier to root for somebody that looks like they're enjoying it and having a good time. And so at this point, it's like even when he gets a podium or has a bad result, had that crash, he doesn't look deflated. And even last year were times where he got his butt kicked by Jet or whatever, he's takes it on the chin and moves on. I love that. I hope he stays around.
What will be the determining factor for him being done, you think?
Well, I think
winning is fun. If he continues to win or get on the podium, but I honestly think he could get on the podium for 5-6 more years. Like I
think so too. And I think that we already have had this. I always go back 2022 outdoors, Chase Sexton, Eli Tomac. I think right then and there, that's when the sport made the next step forward. And then Jet came in 23, so on and so forth. I think he is somebody like Tomac. He is very aware of the risk that he takes. And that's why through the years, we've had those weird Tomac results where he just doesn't have the speed and he gets 8th. And it's part of the reason why he's been so durable is because he knows when he doesn't have it. He knows when he's not comfortable on the bike and he backs it down instead of trying to make something happen. So if, say, Jet comes back next year in Supercross and takes it to a different level and everybody has to come up and, you know, I could see him, because he's aware of the risk, kind of weighing his options dependent on results. But with what he's shown so far, I think this is better than everyone expected. I think there's no doubt in my mind that the next couple years he's still going to be a podium guy and he's still going to have opportunities to win. He may not be the most dominant version of himself at all, but he doesn't need to be. So yeah. Tomac, 20. Let's go to 2030. What do we think about that?
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Sick.
Yeah. Anything else in 450s?
No, that's all I got. I think, dude, Anderson's riding really good, man.
He is riding great. Mm-hmm.
What's he got to do? Like, do you think that? Because even it was the second main, right, where he passed Eli, passed someone else to get to the lead.
Yeah.
it's like he has the speed early, and I'm not sure. Obviously, that pace is very high, and I don't know if he gets tired or it's just difficult to be at that intensity and be at that pace the entire moto. But I love what he's doing right now. He's getting a start and leaving it all out there, doing everything he can. And then he kind of goes into a bit of a self-preservation mode. Jason loves to use first gear. Like the guy, even on days we were teammates, of course, and gosh, the guy would ride and ride and ride so much. And he's so efficient on the motorcycle that even his 80%, like the last 5 minutes of the race, is still, it's kind of like that front pack right now of Eli, Hunter, Chase, Ken, and it's kind of Anderson all by himself. He's just a tick off that front group, but he's distanced himself from that kind of 5 to 8 group, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and I think he'll get better. There was some rumors, wasn't he sick for a couple of weeks to
Yeah,
start
he
the
was.
season?
He was.
That could linger. He could maybe not
Yep.
ride for a while. So I think once he's able to ride more during the week, then you mentioned just how much he rides. So I think that's probably what he enjoys most, to get that last bit of fitness, that last bit of intensity. And once he has that, yeah, I mean, look, we said it early on, we think he wins a race this year. I could totally see if Detroit's hard packed or something like that, middle of the season, I could see him getting the whole shot, passing, or even passing into the lead, not even just getting the whole shot. He has that type of speed right now and winning the race. I think maybe a couple things have to fall his way, but he could absolutely win.
I think it's been a while. He had 3 podiums in the first 5 races last year, but then of course he was sick and he was off the bike, missed a lot of time, left Cowie, new team now. I think that being up front, running that pace when you haven't done that in a while, things can come at you a little bit faster. Like things are just happening quickly. And I think the more he puts himself up there early, the more stuff is going to slow down. And the same speed, perceived effort is going to be less. And that when that happens to me, that's when he's going to go the distance. He's an opportunistic winner, no doubt. Like there's going to be tracks where he's up in it. But that's my last thing on 450s, JB.
Yep. One more thing on 450s, but I want to thank a few of our sponsors. First, SKDA, we've talked about them. Ogio Power Sports. Thank you to Ogio. We're going to unpack the weekend when we get to the 250 class. Smartop spa covers. I want to do a little Smartop save of the weekend, AC, because the save of the weekend was no doubt Cooper Webb. No doubt. If you want a spa cover, go to smarttopspacover.com. The best in the business. We appreciate their support. But the Smartop save of the weekend was Cooper Webb off the finish line. Nearly gets together with Hampshire right there. Fades left, nearly into Kenny. Aborts mission off the finish line. Faces into the landing. And somehow, some way, saves it.
Big brain move to ride the absolute edge of the track when he came up short, because that is a nightmare. When you roll, and I've been there. Even the race I won, Monster Cup, first 450 race, I rolled the finish line the first lap. When you roll a jump on the first lap with all those dudes, you are just waiting for the impact at that point. And remember, I mean, we just had this massive, scary crash at Anaheim 1 too. That's in your brain.
Yeah.
So for him to ride the edge of the track like that, I mean, I think a lot of guys would probably make that same play. But yeah, no doubt, Smart Top save of the week. And we did Smart Top surprise last week, and now we're going Smart Top save. I'm into it. Let's keep it fluid.
We're gonna mix it up every single week, no doubt. Thanks to Smart Top, appreciate it. We just got a bunch of snow here in Charlotte. I mentioned it last week. We had an ice storm. Went and sat in the hot tub. I'm gonna do that again. If you need a spa cover, go to smarttopspacover.com. Check them out. Also, firepowerparts.com. Look, we talk about their batteries all the time. That's the backbone of the brand. But the product list for 2026 will be growing big time. They also have full drivetrain components, chains and sprockets, stands, ramps, gas jugs. Visit firepowerparts.com. We appreciate their support. And check them out in 2026. Like I said, here in a couple months, they're going to be dropping all kinds of new stuff, but they've got a great line of stuff already. So check them out, firepowerparts.com. AC, is it time? Should we bring him on?
Let's do it, dude. Kicking it with Kenny, presented by Fox Racing. Let's go.
Kenny, thanks for joining us again, fresh off a Triple Crown. How was it, man? You enjoyed Triple Crowns, or after the weekend? What do you think?
Honestly, I'm a little bit neither here or there with the Triple Crowns. Although I do have to say that doing so many off-season races over the last few years, they're all styled that way with 3 main events. So it just feels super familiar. But when it comes to racing here in the U.S., it's a lot of racing. Like, it might not sound like much, but 12 plus 1, if you look at it, I think we did, 16 or 17 laps of main event, I think. That's almost 3 full main events compared to what it used to be back in the day before we started doing 20 minutes. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy to think about. It's just really intense racing, and I feel like it's not short enough to be a sprint, so that's what makes them pretty hard, you know?
What'd you think about the track? JB and I were kind of joking. We were watching, and we said, if the track looks fun for us to ride, it's probably a little bit too easy. I just thought it was super fast, specifically for the Triple Crown format as well. I mean, not a terrible racetrack by any means, but thought it was definitely fast.
I agree 100%. The rhythm lanes were super fast. I mean, the speeds that we were hitting takeoffs with, and also landing into the turn, like the one before the finish line right there, there's a lot of force going on compared to, like, let's call it a normal Supercross track. This one was just really fast, just a lot of open space and wide open. So it made it for some braking bumps, like down that long straightaway when we came back across the start straight right there, going into that little double. Yeah. The double was so small, so we were actually creating like pretty decent sized braking bumps for a Supercross, you know. I agree, for a Triple Crown, it was just a little bit scary. So when the track was all perfect, it was actually fun. And if you could just kind of ride it your 80% or whatever, it was fun. But as soon as you had to go for it, because the actual obstacles or the distances were pretty easy, but that's what made it hard, because there was really no limit on how hard you can push and how fast you can go. So it's just, you know, when you have a tiny little margin for error, those mistakes that you can make just end up being like really big. You know what I mean? So, so the track was actually pretty hard back during press day. They laid that sand on top of it, but it wasn't quite worked in yet, which they told me, the track builders told me that they were going to do some more work until we start riding tomorrow. So they did actually do a really good job. It softened up quite a bit, but I was surprised for how ruddy it did actually get, because I didn't expect that. So the ruts would go from the beginning of the takeoff, then all the way to when you take off to triple out of the turn. So sometimes when you're right behind somebody, you can't really see where you're going, right? So you're kind of getting off balance. So it was tricky that way.
How about the section before the finish? You mentioned, like, if you were just riding 80%, getting over that tabletop would be super easy. But then you push 100%, and we watched you obviously pretty much every lap because you were up front a lot. But if you overshot or cased a little bit on that tabletop, then your suspension would compress, and this was for everybody. Then you'd come up a little bit short on that little banana, but you'd still have to go for that banana over the 5-footer. Like, that looked really, really difficult to race on.
It was, and you know, that tabletop, it was so tall, and the landing was so steep. Then after press day, it was already difficult then. Your timing had to be really on it, because the difference between over jumping it or casing it was not very much. But then as we got going throughout the day, we actually, everybody landing in the same spot, you just keep shoveling out that dirt. So that wasn't really a landing anymore. It was really just a hole in the back. So to land on the actual backside was almost impossible. So you either had to like case it and soak it up a little bit, or, you know, land in that bottom pocket, which I one time bounced my head off the handlebars too, because it's such a violent hit and you have to be wide open to actually be able to get that next triple. So it just was a difficult section, because as the suspension compresses there too, when you have your body forward, it can shoot you right or left. You know what I mean? Like it's just such a hard hit. It's almost like you're getting a tire roll. And yeah, making it, and then we land on the banana. You basically want to over jump those a little bit just so you can preload the suspension and actually get that pop to land over the 5-footer. So if you case that ever so slightly, and I did it and actually still went for the triple, but you had to put in, you had to time that just right. So you would just clip that 5-footer on the landing and then you'd be fine. But it just, man, the difference between like actually going for it or checking up is almost nothing. You know what I mean? It makes it really hard.
I never thought we'd have an obstacle on a Supercross track called a banana.
I know, same, right? But what else would you call it at the same time, right?
Yeah. What do you guys think? Why are we seeing more of those now? Is that so guys don't quad?
That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure, and I feel like it only started in the recent year and a half, I would say. So we haven't had a whole lot of them. The first time was, did we have one in Anaheim 1 on that far lane? I don't think we had one there, but San Diego and Anaheim 2, and they did change up the rhythm lane a lot. Like it made it a lot trickier, but I didn't think about it much because I just thought it was what it was. But the more we have them now, you run into situation. Same with, Austin Faulkner going down and press day right there. It's just you can do them when it's just you and, you do them in practice. But when you start racing them, they can just get very tricky. And I think it may be one of the sketchiest obstacles on the actual track. I haven't thought that much into it because they are fairly new. But as of right now, just speaking also to other riders, they're all a little bit at unease with them, I guess. I think we're still trying to figure out where we put it in what category.
That was cool of you to help Austin. Obviously, it's press day, and you're gonna stop. But it was cool. You, Tomac, stopped, got the bike out, got the bike from on top of him. It's pretty hectic.
I came around and I was in the right position to stop too because I was just rolling up on it, and there were a couple of riders there already. I think it was Eli and who else was it?
Justin Hill.
Oh yeah, Justin Hill, and I think wasn't there somebody else in the beginning? Maybe not. Anyways, there were already a couple of people there, but they were kind of pulling from the other side. So I just, I dumped my bike right away because we had to pick it up just on the front wheel and actually like flip it. You know what I mean? And yeah, absolutely. And then I ended up talking to him, but you know how it is, right as you go down really hard, if you're hurting really bad, like most of the time I'm just kind of like bracing, waiting for the pain to kind of go away so I could explain myself, but it takes a minute sometimes, right? So I didn't want to just be right up in his face and started ripping goggles off and stuff. You never know, head injury, neck injury. You just don't want to do any, quick movements. So just trying to get him to settle down a little bit until he asks to get the goggle removed. And we do what we can when I don't want to see anybody go down really hard. It's never a good sight.
Yeah. Did you see Mitchell Harrison through that section go on, off, 4, 3?
Before the finish?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, he was doing it. I noticed him doing it in the main, and then he piles it in one of the mains. He cased the 4. The very next lap, he comes around and just greases it again. No problem. Me and AC is just laughing. We're like, dude, that's crazy.
That probably is a really good section to go down that way. I actually think it could have been really fast once you get that quad down. Speed-wise, just because going on off, I think you can race that a little bit more than trying to get into that pocket. It was so difficult.
Dude, anytime you're doing a quad off a 5-footer, respect.
Yeah, I'm out.
That is gnarly.
Yeah, and it was big to small, right?
Yeah.
I need to honestly look at that whole section again from like far away just to like see the obstacles actually again. But yeah, I haven't even thought of that.
Well, good for him. On press, Adam and I did. And look, we've seen hundreds of tracks, right? And the first thing we said to each other were like, this is beefy. Like the tabletop was huge. The singles were big. Like that was a big section.
It was. And actually coming race day, excuse me, they actually took that as we went over the tabletop and 3 onto that banana. I feel like the transition was almost a little bit shorter, and they definitely manipulated it from press day to race day, but then also that 5-footer landing, kind of like what we call that reverse ski, was much taller and steeper too. I don't want to call it much taller necessarily, but I think it was steeper, and they did take about this much off the top, but that makes a massive difference when you look at it, and especially when you think about, your natural way of getting the lift over there. So they did mellow it out a little bit, thank God, because I think maybe that, during press day, that was one section that all of us riders, like I didn't even do it for a while because I just kind of wanted to see how I feel riding and let it play out a little bit. And then I ended up doing it plenty of times the second session we went out, but I didn't just like bust it out right away because I'd rather think 3-4 times about it than doing it and then regretting it that I did it so quickly. So I kind of took my time with it, but I'm glad that they ended up fixing it a little bit and just mellowing it out because you got to understand too, right? 22 riders for 12+1, like there's just a lot going on. And if it's difficult doing it by yourself to that extent or sketchy, then think about when you have 3 other guys, like, or 2 other guys next to you or right behind you. And all it takes for somebody in front of you to mess up and bikes go flying, you hit it. I mean, it can be big time carnage, you know, that can be avoided by just at least working with the riders, which they do a good job working with the riders and mellowing it out a little bit. We wouldn't say anything unless we're all going like, maybe not an ideal section for a race, you know?
Hey, I feel like you've been spicier in qualifying practice so far this
weekend.
Year. Yeah, but just in general, I don't know. Is
all year,
the speed
right?
coming easier?
Yeah. Not
or
my style,
like even
right?
this
If you look at the
weekend,
years
because it's a
past,
triple crown. Do you try harder in qualifying?
No, I honestly think it's just I was able to. Maybe it's just my off season paying off. Like I did put in a lot of work and I was riding a lot and racing a lot and just paid attention to what I was doing, like really, because I was home and not constantly being unprepared and then trying to go race. So I was actually taking my time, was able to get consecutive weeks and work on my riding, and not so much that I do like section training or anything, but I did get a lot of laps overall under my belt. And I think might just be a comfort thing and just, I don't know, maybe it paying off. You know, I'm finally kind of like peaking again, I guess, how I was last year when I was riding really well. But even then I wasn't that great all in qualifying. So I don't know what changed, honestly. I really don't. I'm having a good flow around the track for the most part.
How about the team, man? We got to give a lot of credit to the team and the bike. Like, look, Suzuki was a little bit of a laughing stock for a while, right? Because they hadn't updated it. Then you come to the team, you're performing well on it, but everyone's kind of like, well, Kenny's just so good. Kenny can ride anything. He makes any bike look good. And now Jason coming to the team, he's getting great starts. He's running up front. Like, the bike is good, man. It looks unreal.
It's really fun for me in a rider standpoint to take a team and both all of us together, team, me, everybody that is involved, and taking something that nobody looked at to something where you can go, or it's hard not to notice, if that makes sense. So yeah, a lot of hard work was put in, and I think it shows. And now, even though there's no updates, like, it's kind of fun still to think about that we've had the same bike for a long time and people keep changing, but yet we're more, you know, we're competitive and more than competitive. And that doesn't mean it's all roses. Like I said, there's always things that you feel like that can be better, but it is sometimes so hard to get there that for what we have and how good the motorcycle overall is, and then not having it change for so many years actually allowed us to utilize the R&D that we have put in and race it year after year. And if we have updated parts, we'll test it, which I did some motor testing this winter, and it ended up being too fast for me. So it was nice to see that coming, and nice to have stuff in our back pocket. But for the most part, things are the same. And I feel like that's when a rider can really adjust to the motorcycle and builds a lot of trust.
You know, it's cool to see both of you guys, you and Jason, doing really well. And the fact that your bike setups, they could not be any more different. I don't think. Jason's back looks super low and fast, and yours is a bit taller. Like that's a pretty cool dynamic.
I think that's just ultimately the result of the groundwork was put in, and then to manipulate the suspension or little chassis things that you want to do to your personal liking, it'll still stay a good bike motor-wise and whatever. And of course, there's still things that, you know, I actually haven't even ridden this bike and he hasn't ridden mine, but I don't think we're necessarily even too far off of settings-wise. So, I mean, it just shows you that it's a really good all-around bike, which is hard to find. Sometimes you have something that works so good in a certain area or on a certain type of soil or whatever. And I just feel like our bike is so good every condition that you kind of come on. And it might be a little bit better or little differences here and there, but enough to where like you can just focus on your riding and adjust and maybe better yourself throughout the day than chasing both things at all times.
You know what I don't think a lot of people understand is, like, we're all talking about these updates on the other bikes, but all three of us have been in a situation where we're super happy with a motorcycle, and then they change the bike, and we're like, what did you guys do? Like, what I want my old bike. So honestly, like, maybe we should be praising Suzuki.
Advantage
of like, hey, they've got a great bike, and then you have years to get better and better. Where, look, I mean, both of you have lived in the world of super stoked with a bike. They change it. Typically, it's every 4 years, but they change it, and you're like, oh my goodness.
Throughout my career, more so than not, has there been a bike update and it actually like worked out. Like that hardly ever happens, or at least for me, it just never, especially once you know, if a bike isn't perfect and you put in 2 to 3 years of work into that motorcycle, you can get it to where you have ridden it so much and then you actually get comfortable and then boom, something else comes out and everything kind of goes out the window. It's just, it can be very frustrating. And it just never, at least for me, never felt like, something new came out and whoa, all of a sudden like, man, this is way better. This is way better. It was always a work in progress a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it. Certain things have its negatives, like the whole electric start, kickstart thing. I love it when I practice. It doesn't bother me at all. I actually enjoy kickstarting my bike. It can just create problems that we all know, right?
Yeah.
Kicking it with Kenny.
That's right. Right here.
You were a little frustrated on the podium this week, Ken. That's the first time. Normally the perspective is there. You're stoked, but obviously you were close to the win, so it's a bit harder to take.
A little bit of mixed emotions, Yeah, it was a little bit more of a bummed feeling, but all in, it's a good kind of bummed, right? I said it years past. I would have done a lot of bad things for podiums, you know what I mean? Because they just seemed like,
Same.
And they're still very hard to get. It's a freaking war every single weekend. It feels like, when it comes to an effort that you put in to get on there. So that's where I was like, man, podium, like I've been 3 podiums out of 4 races, which is really nice. I'm comfortable with that. It is just a bummer that when you have this opportunity laying on the table and you just don't grab it to actually make a pretty decent swing on the points. And it just wasn't, I just ended up where I ended up. This is exactly what I was talking about, So I was just a little bit like, it wasn't for the lack of effort, but, underlying, I was like, it was a little stinger.
What did you think first race? So you obviously win race 1. Track is super fresh. It looked really fun. But when Chase got into second, did you see that he was there? Because it was almost like once you realized it, you picked up the pace again, and then you kind of dropped him towards the end.
Yeah, I knew, because even Jorge, when everybody's so fresh and you start off and the track is so perfect, I mean, I'm usually really good with that too, but it is harder making up that difference. So like I said, the gap was never big enough for me to relax until the last lap and a half, 2 laps. Once Chase came closer, and I knew that would happen. I just know that when I'm in front of him, he's going to, no matter who it is really, but he's not a guy that kind of just sits there and lets it play out, because those positions, if you can get it, makes such a big difference. It's the same thing in main 2. When I was behind Justin Cooper, I was already alongside of him, couldn't make the pass stick, but now that you look back in the 3rd main, I needed that spot so bad to be able to do something, and I couldn't. So I knew that he was going to try really hard. And then, towards the end, I just ended up, just finding a better flow. The differences sometimes are so little in turns, having a little bit of a better exit speed because you were smoother and stuff. So I just think I put the track. There were a couple of laps where he was probably really, really on it, and I was ever so slightly slow in some areas. And before you know it, he's right on my tail. And then it can go the other way, though, real quick, too. Yeah, in the end, I had a 4-second gap or something like that. So the last 2 laps, I eased up a little bit, made sure I hit my lines, and I guess not waste any extra energy, if that makes sense, just because I was comfortable with the 4-second gap. And, yeah, first race was awesome.
What that moment with your teammate, Jason, we were just talking off air, and you're like, that comment on the podium kind of got overblown a little bit. You said my teammate held me up or whatever. Obviously, Jason didn't know it was you, but kind of talk through that from your perspective.
I said I got held up by my teammate, but that could have been anybody. We just talked about it. It's not his fault as he's racing forward too. And my finish, or I feel like my overall finish, got decided by that one rhythm lane where I was able to get really, really close to him. And then he didn't know it was me. So he did everything right. But I just meant that right there, I should have made it happen, or be a little bit more patient. I wasn't close enough, and maybe hit my section, get closer, and then try again. And I didn't do that. And I think that got followed up within the next half a lap, got followed up with a little spin out, and I couldn't hit the rhythm lane. I lost the position. And so right then and there, I feel like everything kind of slipped, even though I did still have a chance in the end, right? Like once Cooper was by me, I was right behind him. And we were like that basically all the way to the finish line. And I tried really hard. I did. But I know that Cooper is really tough to pass, especially towards the end of the race. And I tried all the way to the finish line and just wasn't enough. So definitely no lack of effort there. But it wasn't Jason's fault. I didn't mean for it to come across that way. It just happened to be that it was my teammate. And He's racing for positions too. And I just should have been maybe a little bit smarter in trying to figure out where I was going to make the pass stick, and I couldn't do that. So that's really all that was.
Isn't it crazy in racing how you do 3 16-lap races and the whole thing comes down to one little moment? Like one defining moment changes whether you get first or third overall. And look, great result either way. You were on it either way. But still, you think about one section for the entire day determine the outcome.
Absolutely. And, you know, the wins don't come by me that often anymore. So like when you just have that opportunity once again and it just didn't happen, it was one of those things. I want to keep it calm and cool and collected and everything, but I have to allow myself to be a little bummed too, because I haven't had that like stinger feeling in quite some time, you know, and it was right there and I didn't take it, and it was a little bit bittersweet. But hey, after the race is before the race, so we go again next weekend.
I will say though, Triple Crowns are tougher physically, no doubt about it.
For sure.
In the last few laps of the last main event, dude, you were sprinting, like scrubbing every jump as hard as you can. It's got to feel pretty good to know you have it in the tank like that.
Absolutely. I agree with you. The Triple Crowns, even though it sounds like the motors are shorter and you get a break and whatever, I believe that they are physically more demanding than your regular main event. It's a lot easier to dig deep one time, you know, for 20 minutes than doing that, because whether, you know, 12+1, you're that intensity over that. It's not short enough to be a sprint, but not long enough to be a full main event. So you're in between there, but yet you're still racing like it is a sprint. So they're just its own breed. It really is. And then the turnaround time, I feel like this weekend was really quick too. I mean, after the podium, I got back to the bus, sat down, you know, and before you know it, I look at the clock and I'm like, gate load, it was in like 15 minutes or something. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like I was barely in there, you know, got a drink and everything. And then you head back down there. So the turnaround time felt really quick for me this weekend. I was just kind of caught off guard, I guess I should say. I just figured we had like at least a couple extra minutes, you know, so, but it is what it is. It's good to get the first one out of the way. Now I know what to expect for the next one.
I wonder what the sweet spot is. What do you guys think? So when we first started Triple Crowns, wasn't it 8, 12, 15? Because I remember the last one being like, it was like 23 laps or something. Remember that at Anaheim when we first started them?
Yeah.
What's the sweet spot, do you guys think? Like for 250 and 450, 250.
It depends a little bit how you get there. Would you say, AC? I mean, you know, the overall amount of laps, splitting it up evenly, or, you know, going with short race, middle race, long race, like no matter what, at one point it's going to feel like you're doing a lot of laps. So it just really depends what people want to see. Do they want to see a sprint? What would you say is a sprint? A heat race is a sprint. We don't want to go heat race, but you want to go a little bit longer. But 12+1, 16 laps on of course, the lap time was quite a bit shorter than what we see most of the time. But
I don't think
12+1,
I don't think you can consider that a sprint, right?
Yeah, but that's what they say.
I mean, you guys are.
I agree, though.
Yeah.
10+1, 8+1, 10, 250, 8+1, 450, 10+1, or 9+1 for 250, 10. Make it, you know, not that it's 2 minutes difference. I don't know. That's a good question.
You know what I think would be cool is if they added like a double header or something. Like if they did 2 12-minute +1s or something like that, just 2 of them.
I agree.
That'd be kind of cool because they have Triple Crown and you have your regular 20 minutes plus a lap, and then maybe you have 2.
Oh, add that in on top of it is what you're saying, what we currently
have.
Like
let's just say, so that we have 3 Triple Crowns. What if 2 of them were, they call them double headers or something? Just a little different
I agree.
Format.
No, and I do like that about SMX. I do like the 2 moto format. It doesn't necessarily have to be 2 20+1s, maybe. But I do like the 2 motos. It feels a little bit like moto. That's for the most part what we're used to, or what feels the most normal, right? When you think about growing up and it was always 2 motos, you know, that's just one of the things that we do. So I agree on that one.
Hey, I posted something on X talking about just dropping some notes on Houston. I was talking about the track. What do you look for in a track? Like people were asking me, but I want to hear from you. Like if you had to design a racetrack, what's the sweet spot of fast and technical and ruddy? And
here's what I think. I mean, we've seen like this weekend, and our comments were when a supercross track is that fast, it's maybe not ideal for racing. Okay, I think it is more important the way the track is shaped more than the obstacle, you know? Like, I feel like there are so many ways to get to a good supercross track. And I've said it before, Anaheim 1, San Diego, I feel like have been the best tracks so far this year when it comes to how it was shaped, how smooth it was. You know, San Diego was technical. It was pretty tall. Like, things were still pretty peaky and tight, you know? But the transitions, we knew what we were kind of getting. And then you just have certain weekends like Anaheim 2. I feel like it was a little bit more difficult there because the track wasn't quite as clean and the obstacles were just a little bit square and kind of short and steep. So you just have little differences like that. So I think it's more about how the track is shaped than what the actual obstacles are, you know, because it's really hard to pinpoint exactly because, you know, I still like dragon backs. Yeah. And I do think you can build them to where they're technical, but not necessarily a death sentence, if that makes sense. I know that sounds a little harsh, but there's just the same with whoops. You can build them to where they're absolutely sketchy, or you can build a big set of whoops that are technical, but fairly safe.
Nothing better than a dragon's back where the second to last whoop is bigger than the top whoop. Mm-hmm. I've got a couple of broken collarbones from that. So.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's definitely a timing thing. They're really technical. I've always liked them throughout my career, but I think different riders have different opinions about them.
Hey, back in my day, boys, you two are some youngsters.
Oh, boy.
TP designed a track in St. Louis.
Oh, I remember.
I remember that one.
You remember the dragon back to single to dragon back where you go dragon over the single over the next dragon to hit the backside of it? It was unbelievable.
Was it sketchy?
Stu?
Yeah, it was sketchy.
Stu crashed there. Stu crashed there in the heat race.
He did, yeah.
Came back, was leading the main, and then he went up on that over-under bridge, hit neutral.
Yeah.
Dude, I watched Bar to Bar 2009 so many times. I could tell you every lap what happened.
You have to say, though, I feel like throughout the last, let's call it, how long have I? So 2014 was my first 450. We have seen some tracks with crazy dragon backs. Like I remember, wasn't there one where there were like 3 dragon backs in a row basically or something like that, or something that went from whoop section into a dragon's back? I remember that too. I forgot where that was, but
that was St. Louis 2014.
Yeah, we had some crazy variations with dragon backs for sure. I think the mud race in 2016, I was the Iron Ken, and Ryan was Captain America. Remember that gear deal that we had? Yeah. Anyways, but it was a mud race. But I remember, I think there were at least back-to-back dragon backs.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming back.
I did that one in St. Louis on a no-link KTM. No-link KTM, boys. Adam, now's the perfect time to make an old man joke.
I've never ridden one of those. But actually,
dude,
the
I
only
was
reason
watching.
It's not about me not racing professionally during that time. It was more so they switched in 2011, and I only came to KTM in 2011. So it was right, that transition got made.
Just missed it.
It was cool. Our statistician, we went fast. They posted something. I think it was like last Friday. It was a Supercross from the 1970s. I was not expecting to see you in the mix, JB, but you were right up in there, dude, in the top 5. It was great.
Dude, Ken, he gets an old man joke in there about once a weekend. He's like, were you battling Glover that night or Hannah?
Dude, I have to. It's literally the only thing I can harp on you about. Like, you don't give me any ammunition.
Yeah, and it's not like JB's that old, but it's more so about for how long he raced, though, too. So then you've raced, some people that I definitely haven't raced. We have to give him crap, right?
Yeah, totally.
I love it. Keep it coming. Well, Ken, we got some good news for you. Glendale this weekend.
You love Glendale, dude. Hey, I remember Glendale 2020 Triple Crown. I was feeling so good. I remember I got the first main event, started behind you and Tomac, and I'm like, dude, I'm going to make quick work of these guys. Like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. And you guys, I was on the limit and just inched away from me. You swept it. You swept it that night. You love Glendale.
That year was a good year. Yeah, it just comes down to that. Over the years, I guess it has been known that it is my spot. But like I've said before, it's not like I go there and I feel like I'm going there with a crazy advantage. It just always happens to be that way. Obviously, I did grow up riding hard pack tracks like that, the same color of dirt and blue groove that it gets, although it has been a long time since I've been over there, but there's certain things from your childhood that just stick with you, right? So it's the same with France. Like I used to race in France quite a bit, and it's the same type of track, hard pack, blue groove, no water system. So we end up getting very similar conditions to that, so that could play a role in it. But it's hard not to go there and not smile, if that makes sense.
Hey, what year was the 9 Kawasaki down in the whoops there? Was that 2020?
That was 2020 last main. I had to pass Anderson to get a podium. And it's like the last few laps, and I think I normally hit those whoops in third, and I started to shift in fourth. I skipped one. It was also the next day. I remember this because I was in the hospital. I went straight from the hospital to the airport, and that was the day that Kobe Bryant passed away. I'll always remember that the rest of my life.
Yeah, it was, huh?
Tough one. You were a Kobe guy too, right?
Oh, huge Kobe guy, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, Glendale vibes high. Ken, you're in a great spot. Bounce back. Energy's good. I'm into it.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to keep approaching the races the same way I have these first few ones, and ultimately there's not much else I can do. So it's nice to, I guess, kind of not rest on that, but I've done all my work, it's been good so far. And now we're just going to ride it out till the end, see where we end up.
Appreciate you, dude.
All right.
Thanks for coming
see you guys
on the show
next
again.
week.
We'll see you this weekend.
Sounds good.
Later, dude.
Man, that's fun. That's fun to catch up with Kenny and give the listeners and viewers a little inside of what it feels like to be a part of it, inside the helmet for us. Like, we can talk about the track all we want, but to get the perspective and the lens from his view, that's pretty cool.
It is. Maybe we should chop his interview up and like post it separately later in the week. Because I saw some comments under our last video, and people are like, we just skip the first 15 minutes, just go straight to Ken's segment.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll throw some shorts up or something. But, yeah, Ken is just so much less up and down than he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like no matter what happens, he's kind of just rebounds, takes it. I guess that's age, perspective, whatever. But I love that our guy's having a great year so far. I mean,
yeah,
dude,
and it's real, right? It's real. I mean, you and I, we would be honest, like we spent, an hour or two in his bus on Friday morning before press, and he's just, it's real. Like he feels like he's in it more than ever. He's more calm. He's just kind of go with the flow, not really stressed out, and it's showing on the racetrack.
Yeah, I think, and I may have said this already, I'll try to keep it short, but I think it's really cool how he's succeeded, not even talking results-wise, but personally in his life post 2017 crash. Like to be such a rocks. I mean, think about it. He was so good, so young. Who wins a GP at 15? Like,
yeah, I know, right?
He was so good, so young, and he's like the golden child. And won a 450 title so early on at 19 years old. Again, who does that? Jet Lawrence, I guess. But it's just cool to see the more on the personal side of things, like the personal transformation, the changing in perspective that allows him to enjoy it now. It's really cool because it's not a given. It could have gone the other way. He could have let it beat him, and he had a lot of odds stacked against him, and he's figured it out from a personal side. So, yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Pretty cool. All right, let's go. That's 450s. And thanks to Ken once again. Thanks to Fox for bringing us Ken Roczen each and every weekend. That's been a lot of fun to do, and Ken seems into it, so that makes it even better. But let's go 250s. OgioPowersports.com. Visit them. You want the bags like me and Adam travel with each and every weekend. We're going to unpack the weekend presented by Ogio. The rig bag, the four-wheeler. I talk about it all the time, but me and Bex both had the four-wheeler this weekend.
Yeah, I've got Pilos hooking it up, dude. Should be on my doorstep any day now. New backpack.
Love it.
Four-wheel guy for life.
Love it. If you want a discount from Ogio, go to OgioPowersports.com. Type in the code ACJB15 for 15% off your order. That's ACJB15 for 15% off. We're giving discounts out, AC.
Oh, this show's come a long way, dude.
It has.
It really has.
We're not even a year in. Is that crazy? We're not even a year in.
It is. Who starts a podcast 3/4 of the way through Supercross?
I know, right?
Yeah. We had talked about it long enough, but we're here. And while we're here, actually, I do really just want to say thank you to everyone that because, dude, even when we're at the races, it surprises me how many riders even will come up to me and be like, I love your guys' show. And it makes me feel good. Makes me feel like we're reasonable, because it's, I don't know. It's kind of a tough job. Like, I don't really like judging other people. Like, it's obviously not a personal thing, because it's a sport and that's what you do across the board. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like people are into it. So I want to say thank you to those people.
You know what the ultimate compliment so far about the show has been? It's been from our guy Weege. We all love Weege.
Oh,
Jason Wygant in the booth this past week, and what a guy. But he's a show listener. He's mentioned he listens to the show. But he said we do a great job of, whether you call it towing the line or whatever you call it, about, criticizing but not really to these riders. And I think why we can do that so well is because we've lived with the helmet on for so long, and we've been criticized. But also there's been, like, honestly, Steve Mathis is a perfect example. Steve was always really fair to me, and I think you would probably agree as well. If he ever criticized, I knew it was true, so I could never really get mad at him. I feel like that's kind of what we've done, is like we're not going to really criticize because we don't really like that, but also we have to call it like we see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we would go up to any rider right now and have a conversation with them if we said something negative about them, and they would have to agree, right?
Yeah, I think the difference is with both of us, Justin. I think we don't get off on putting other people down.
Totally.
Like, it's not like something happens on the weekend, somebody blows it, makes a mistake, and I'm pulling up my chair here on Tuesday thinking, oh, I cannot wait to just put it to this guy. If anything, it's the opposite. If anything, I see something negative and I'm like, dang it. Like, I gotta say this. Like, I still feel like I'm a rider myself.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that's actually funny, speaking of this real quick, and we'll get into 250s here, but I did say something. I'm going to try to keep this as broad as possible, because I don't want to pick on anybody or criticize anyone specifically. But I said something on the broadcast this weekend that wasn't super negative, but it wasn't positive. But nothing crazy. And dude, I had somebody's mother in my DMs on Instagram, dude, not happy.
Really?
Not, dude, I'm talking like probably like 5 pages of a book, dude.
Oh no.
It was nuts. And what I said was like pretty mellow for the most part, but I get it. I do get it. I mean, when your emotions are tied in these results, these things happen. But yeah, it's hard to toe the line, but we're here.
Yeah. All right. Let's unpack the weekend a little bit in the 250 class, and we have to start with Haiden Deegan. What a dominating performance from top to bottom. 1-1-1 in the Triple Crown. He had the shooter gun out again. He got Kitchen off the finish line in the first race. And he just looked, I mean, what else can we say other than he's ready? It's time.
No doubt. It's here.
It's time.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I noticed that may be of some value this week is paying attention to him in his turns.
Yeah.
Like, this was a great example because the track was so fast and there was a lot of bull turns. But he has such a good feel for how much he can lean the bike over, for how hard he can get on the gas. And it doesn't matter what the condition is. It could be slick, it could be muddy, ruddy, it doesn't matter. He makes up so much time in the middle of his turns. Like, you just see other people, and specifically with the bowl corners, like after you go whoops, start straight, right-hand turn, triple, and then that next left-hand turn before kind of the first rhythm section you would hit out of the start. Like, in the berms that the rut only forms from the middle of the turn to the exit, it's like everybody else kind of waits for the bike to get settled into the corner before they get on the gas. And he somehow, I don't know how he does it, but he's always on the perfect lean angle. He's on the gas before his tires even get in the rut. And we really don't see a lot of mistakes from him. Like, he's not really a guy that washes the front end a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Think about for how much he pushes on the bike, for how much intensity and aggression that he has, he really doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what else I noticed? This is maybe a testament to the bike as well as his speed, but there was the right-hand turn after you go down the start into that little double, that right-hand turn in one of the races. I'm not sure exactly which one it was, either second or third. That turn was so ruddy. I mean, like really, really ruddy. And there started to get a lot of acceleration chop, and pretty much everyone else would miss it. You know, let's just say this turn right here, we ended up passing Kitchen. But it looked like his, and it probably has to do with his entry speed as well, but he would get the 3 out of the turn better than anyone. And then I would watch other people's bikes, and you could tell their body would start moving and get all a little off balance because of the acceleration chop. And his bike would soak it up. And I don't know if he does such a good job maybe with his legs soaking it up as well, or if it's just overall mile per hour, which he doesn't feel the bumps as much. I'm not sure, but that really stood out to me. That turn right there, the amount of speed that he would carry, able to get that triple. And if you miss that triple, it was what, a second and a half?
Yeah, not good.
At least.
So I think that on a 250, anytime there is a section or a jump out of a turn that's hard to do, it's very easy to rush the turn because you're already thinking about the obstacle. You're not thinking about the turn. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to rush the entry, have a little pause in the middle, and then try to make all your speed up on the exit of the turn. And the problem with that is the back end gets so low, your front end's tall, and then you have way less control of the motorcycle, less speed, less control. And I think what I saw from him, which was, again, this coupled with the aggression, to me, is what makes him special, is like he knew not to rush the entry of that turn. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you watch him ride and you think this guy is just all out sprinting. Like there's no game plan. He's just a bad dude on a dirt bike and super aggressive, but he's also thoughtful. It's so easy after a long straightaway, that little double, to get into that turn too fast. So many guys in the 250 class were doing this. And then right at the part of the turn, kind of the middle, when you make the most of your turn, if you rush the entry, you end up having a little pause there. And then you're trying to make your speed up on exit and, you know, you make some mistakes. But he came down that straightaway, kind of lightly broke, very mellow in the beginning of his turn, starts rolling the gas on, and it's like he puts the bike exactly where he wants to 99% of the time. Which, when you're riding that aggressive with that much intensity, to be able to do that, have the precision to do that, that's what makes Haiden Deegan. But, dude, he was lippy this weekend, man.
Yes, he was.
Holy crap.
Aggressive is pretty much my middle name at this point, so I'm down, to race. But
like, I don't think I've ever laughed out loud so often. But on the podium, even did he take a little shot at JT on the podium? Did you watch that one back?
Yeah, when he was talking about the whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think JT gave him a little compliment that he's got his whoops figured out. And he's like, oh, that's nice.
Oh, yeah, thank God, JT. Yeah.
JT, you haven't given enough credit on the whoop part. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this guy's coming at our TV crew now. That's crazy.
Nobody's safe, dude. No one's safe.
Hey, he's pretty smart with it, though. It's like when he's the most dominant and he's crushing everybody, which human nature, I get it. But like when he's really on, dude, nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. And then when it's not going so great, he'll he'll say some nice things about his competition or give them credit or whatever. So he knows what he's doing for sure. I mean, it's entertaining, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to race the guy. If you're Levi Kitchen, you feeling good about the weekend?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're feeling good. You just need to get the train back on the tracks. I mean, you just need to think about, we had 3 main events and he was down the first turn in all 3. Now you show up to a Triple Crown where you have 3 race starts. You're thinking, all right, here we go. I just need to get through a couple of these clean. He's able to get through all 3 of them clean. and rode well. Look, we knew he was going to ride well. That hasn't been an issue the whole season. He's been riding, you've mentioned it, maybe the best he's ever ridden. So yeah, I think he just needed to get a little momentum on his side. I don't really think he was there to challenge Haiden, and I don't even know if he can. Like Hayden's good right now. Like he's so good right now, and even as good as Levi is, Levi's been trending. If you think about when they show up to Anaheim and everyone's kind of equal, you're equal on confidence, I would say, and you're equal on belief, then they've went the opposite direction. So now Levi needs to like claw his way back in there when you think about just the head games, qualify faster than him maybe this weekend in Glendale, and then maybe beat him or run with him for 12 minutes or get up there and beat him in a heat race. Or it just takes all these little wins to then beat him in the main. Levi's highly capable, there's no doubt. But I think this weekend he just needed to get the train back on the tracks.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely capable, but right now with the way Haiden is riding, I think anybody, even Max, I would say Max and Levi are 2 and 3 speed wise on the bike right now. And I think they just have to be so perfect in order to beat him. And Haiden doesn't have to be perfect. And when you know that, like I've gone against guys like that in my career where you know that you're pretty much going to have to put on the ride of your life if you want to beat them. And that's a different type of pressure going to the gate, right? I mean, of course, those guys see themselves as someone that can win, but when you have to be so perfect, it's pretty mentally taxing. And I would say Levi is a guy where like somewhere like an Anaheim 1 or San Diego, like Kenny said, a little bit more technical track, tighter track. I think that's where Levi shines more. I think on a fast track like we had this weekend, like we're probably going to have in Glendale, I think if there's a weakness in Levi's game, I think it's probably he's not the all-out intensity guy. He's a finesse guy.
Yeah.
So I think if he can just get another podium at Glendale, and again, just nightmare start to the year. And so like you said, just stack a couple chips, get it moving in the right direction. And yeah, I mean, I think Levi's in prime position to take over this class next year. As of now, we know that changes weekend to weekend. But yeah, I thought it was solid. I thought it was solid for him. And I respect the way he puts up with he tried. And I know that we talked about this last year when it happened in St. Louis. Like when Haiden kind of punked him a little bit. I think it was maybe the first race. And there is no doubt in my mind whatsoever, maybe it was the second one, that Mitch was not happy whatsoever. Because Levi in the first lap, I've watched him on the first lap, I think it was the last race, he was a few guys back from Haiden off the start, and he never took his eyes off the back of his jersey. I mean, he was going to do everything he can to kind of take a shot. And I think it obviously wasn't a T-bone, or I don't even think it was overly aggressive at all. But I think his mistake there after the finish line was not running Haiden high enough, because Haiden had room to cut underneath him, and then he blocked him for the whoop. So if you're going to take a shot at Haiden Deegan, you better be dang sure that you have a high probability of success. Otherwise, he's going to burn you every time.
Yeah, he got Levi good after that. I mean, it was like Levi had him for like 2.2 seconds.
Yeah.
Or 1.2 seconds. Then Hayden's like, nah, I'll get you back. And then it affected Levi way more than it did Haiden.
Yeah. Well, hey, what do we think about, I know you know Max well. Obviously, he was so good at A1. A1's always a little weird, but we know how skilled he is on a bike. Not the best couple weekends for Max. Where are we at right now? Are we good?
I think he needed that last race.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he stayed the closest to Haiden out of anybody all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I'm starting to realize about, and this is ever changing, ever moving, and I think this is for Levi as well, and you were kind of alluding to it. I think for these guys to beat Haiden, for Max and Levi to be able to beat Haiden again, I think it has to take a beat-up track. Like, if you can have all that lean angle and speed, man, I don't think Hayden's beatable. That sounds crazy, but, like,
No, you're
when
right.
the whoops are fresh and the turns are pretty fresh, he is unbelievable, man. He is so good. His overall speed around the whole track is like 2 mile an hour faster than everyone.
It's crazy.
But then if the whoops got beat up, which the whoops this weekend were super easy.
Yeah, they were.
But still, that last race, like Max was still faster than him through the whoops. And then I just think it takes a really, really beat up track. And I think that's what we've seen at Anaheim 1. That's what we saw from Max there, was to get out front, get track position on him early, difficult set of whoops that are really tough to skim. So I think it's track dependent, unfortunately. I think for Levi and Max and even Cameron, we got to throw Cam in the mix now, potentially winning one of these races. It's going to take track position, and it's going to have a track that suits their style, that at least gets them even with Haiden, or even a little bit of an advantage to him. So, yeah, I mean, Max had definitely a tough couple weeks. There's no doubt about it. Since he was taken down in San Diego, it's been a little bit of a rough go. This weekend was on the ground a couple times again, and it's been tough. But, yeah, I mean, Glendale could be a good track for him. We talk about whoops all the time when we go to Glendale. I still think Max is the fastest guy in the 250 class in the whoops.
Yeah, I agree.
So if we have a big set of whoops and the track suits him, then potentially, but you have to have track position and you have to have some fight. Like Hayden's just, there's not many guys that we sit here and talk about that are just that good. And Haiden is just that good right now.
Yeah,
and they've allowed him to get this confidence. And here we are going into round 5, talking about Haiden having what's he have, 19-point lead over Max in the championship?
It's over. Put a fork in it. I mean, it's dirt bikes. Anything can happen, but it's not. It's over. My only other thing in 250s, I just want to send out a get well soon to Chance Hymas. I don't know. I don't think we had confirmed word last week's show that he was for sure out. But anytime, because of my history in the sport, anytime someone goes down like that, I don't know about you, but I really have a strong sense of empathy. It's tough, man. It's really tough. And he clearly made some serious gains in the offseason, took a chance, no pun intended, on himself, and it was paying off. So, dude, that's a tough spot to be in as a racer. I hate it for those guys when they go through it, but that's it, man. I just want to say get well soon, Chance.
Yep. Yeah, a couple more things for me. Shout out, obviously, McAdoo back on the podium. Needed that one for the Pro Circuit boys. You're tight with all those guys over there at Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and cool for them to have 2 guys on the podium. They've been through it the past several years, so cool for Mac. But also Max Vohland.
That was Mac. You know, that was McAdoo. Sorry to interrupt, but that was McAdoo's 20th podium or something.
Oh yeah, he's up there in the stats.
Crazy.
That's what I mean. To start the year when people weren't talking about him, you and I both said it. We're like, if McAdoo's there healthy, 9 times out of 10 he's going to be on the podium. And
well,
here we are.
If he doesn't go down at A1, which coulda, shoulda, woulda, whatever. Yeah. But I mean, he hasn't given away a massive chunk of points since that night. So
yeah, and he was potentially on the podium that night.
Yep.
So yeah, McAdoo, little undervalued, I think, a little underrated coming into the year. Where are we at with Vohland? Can Vohland get a podium? Can he get one?
Yeah. Yeah, he can get a podium. I think that I think right now, speed-wise, he's definitely top 5 speed. And I think some things, it's either going to take – I don't really know what conditions he's the best on yet. He doesn't seem to have a glaring weakness or a glaring strength. Mm-hmm. But I think it's either going to take a track that he's just really feeling himself on, or it's going to take a good start and just someone like a McAdoo or a Kitchen to be 10th on the first lap, and I think he could get a podium.
Yeah.
I think just straight up speed-wise, he's kind of right on that edge. But I'd love to see it. That's another cool story. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, dude, who has a handbrake on their bike and figures out how to ride a dirt bike? Again, I go back to the thumb throttle. It's unbelievable that he's been able to do that. So, dude, he's had a great year. ClubMX, Hunter Yoder too. We talked about him on RDO. They got Chad Reed now. They got all these Daniel Blair. Like ClubMX has just been on a steady rise for what seems like 5 years now.
It's a viable option for guys that want to
It
win
is.
races. And I would
Yeah.
say a few years ago it wasn't, right? If you were a championship guy or a guy that was going to win or has won, you wouldn't really look there. You wouldn't say, "Oh, that's." If you had offers, if you're one of the guys that have offers from several different guys, I do think now it's a viable option. If you want to live in the Charlotte area, which I'm heavily biased towards.
Oh,
Love
yeah,
it.
you love that.
And you want to work with a guy like Chad Reed and you want to have one of the best facilities in the world, then it's for sure an option. I really do. I think their bike is competitive now. Is it the best? Probably not, but it's definitely in the mix, no doubt. So yeah, it's cool to see those guys. It's really cool to see those guys battling up front. And actually a couple more things.
Oh.
How about our guy Duffe?
Oh, yeah, he hit somebody with a pit board, got fined?
Got fined, hit someone with a pit board. So I reached out, said, Duff, what happened? So he explained it to me that Haiden was coming around to lap, I believe he said it was Aiden Shive, and Shive veered over to let Haiden by. And honestly, I can picture this happening. He veered over, Duff still has the pit board out there, accidentally hits him. He said he barely hit him. I guess Aiden's mechanic wasn't too happy about it, and the AMA reviewed it, and ultimately he got fined, I think, $500 or something. So, but for people out there saying, "Oh, there's a lot of things going around that," because all you read is Hayden's mechanic Brent Duffy hit someone with a pit board, you're thinking like, did he hit someone over the head? Like, what happened? No, it didn't happen that way at all. He barely hit the kid, and it is what it is. He didn't mean to do it. But I could see it happening that way, right? It's really easy to happen.
Well, we saw it with Joe Shimoda last year, San Diego. Broke his hand.
Yeah.
Aiden's fine, right?
Again.
Didn't hurt him or anything.
No, I think he's fine.
Yeah, the AMA, you said the AMA guys were talking to Duff, and they were like, it was pretty minimal contact, but they still slapped him with a little fine.
Yeah, little fine.
Should we start a GoFundMe for Duff?
Yeah, we might want to.
Okay.
Yeah. Shoot,
you guys can send all that
right now.
Yeah, you guys send all that to my Venmo. I'll make sure he gets it.
Yeah.
What else?
And one last thing, somber news from the weekend. Brian O Rourke, Brian O, we call him. He's been around a long time. I've known him since 2001, going to Arena Cross. He was the minister there. He'd hold kind of a church service for the riders each and every week, and that was kind of my first introduction really to all that. And I'd go to Brian O's services in Arena Cross, and what a guy, an awesome guy. And I think we were in RDL meetings or something, and I had read on Instagram that Brian O had passed away, and then rumors started to spread, and he passed away in the pits on Friday morning.
Terrible.
So, man, what a terrible, sad way to end Friday. But the positive is Brian O was doing what he loved. I mean, just so for folks out there that don't know what he does now. So he was the minister in Arena Cross for a long time. Also jet skis, so watercraft, he was the minister. And then he came over to Supercross, and Jake Veneta is our minister, holds chapel services each and every week. But Brian O would be there as well. And he would just feed people. He would have like a buffet where he'd feed the privateers. Anyone who was hungry, he was there to serve and there to feed them. And actually talked to him at a Chipotle outside of Angel Stadium 2 weeks ago for Anaheim 2, and had a great conversation with him, and gone way too soon, AC. Brian O was good man for sure.
Good man. And yeah, I don't think anybody has a bad thing to say about him. I hadn't been around him a whole lot, but very well respected in the industry. And your friend, Mark, made this comment when we were talking about it on Friday, that if he wanted to go out anywhere, it would have been at a dirt bike track.
Yep.
So that's the positive thing. But man, after that news hit, it really just, not to get too deep on you guys here, but it really just makes you meditate on how fragile life is. We were talking about that after, but I just find it so crazy in a weird way that like something like that can happen on a Friday. And then it's like you're just watching races on Saturday, and everybody's doing their normal thing, right? There's like all the normal character, and life just goes on. So it's just a reminder that, I guess it's a reminder that nothing in this life is ours. You know, we're here, we accumulate some stuff, we take some pride in it, but ultimately we go out. We go out with none of that. Like, who you are matters more than anything else, you know.
Well
and
said.
Brian, by all accounts, was very upstanding, principled man. So we'll miss him greatly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Well said. And I'm with you, man. Life is fragile. It's crazy. The older you get, the more you realize it. And
No
as
doubt.
a kid, you feel like life is just going so slow, and you just want to get out of school. And then you get older and you start to appreciate the small things. And then by the time you start to appreciate them, you realize how limited time. We don't know how much time we'll have, but how limited it is. Even if we live to
90.
Yeah, even if you live to 90, it's still such a limited time. So, I just wanted to mention Brian O. But Houston, man, Houston's in the books, off to Glendale. One of my favorite races on the schedule, hands down. Just the whole area, the stadium. It's the biggest floor space that we race on inside of a dome, and always loved racing there. Adam, I don't know if you did, but I always loved racing in Glendale.
There was no, like, if you want to talk about what my strength was on a dirt bike, there isn't anything about Glendale that wasn't. So anytime I was there, I think I had maybe the best ride of my entire 250 career in Glendale 2019. Like, I loved how the whoops always stayed big. It never broke down. Just big, massive stadium floor. I mean, have you ever seen a stadium floor that big?
No.
Long lanes, long lap time. I think talking to the guys, I really do think it's become kind of a personal favorite for a lot of these guys. So, I can't wait. Short flight, and we got the Waste Management Phoenix Open happening at the same time.
Are you going?
Yeah, I might. I don't know. I may change my flight to Wednesday and see if I can go out there, walk a few holes with Ricky Fowler, our guy.
That'd be cool.
But, Houston in the books. JB, we're already, 4 rounds into the season. How did that happen?
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Hey, you guys got time for a couple quick fan questions?
Oh, yeah.
So first off, do you think a win for Hunter is what he needs to break away from the rest of the competition? Considering he is almost holding the red plate without a single win, what do you think it'll do to his confidence?
I think it's more about just getting it out of the way. So it's not like a talking point.
That's right, yeah.
Hunter, I spoke on this earlier in the show, but when you go through the things that Hunter has gone through and you get to this point, mentally you arrive at a place where you know that focusing on the end result is not beneficial. And so there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to handle this situation great. He's not going to get too fixated on winning a race. You ultimately have to go out there, control what you can control, and keep your head in it, and not think about just getting your first win. But I do think once that happens, there will definitely be a bit of a sigh of relief, and I think it'll free him up a little bit. And I think, again, once he gets the lid off the basket, JB, sky's the limit.
Yeah. I'm looking at my phone right now because I sent our friend Steve Mathis this graphic that we had on Race Day Live this weekend, and it's most second place finishes with no wins. And we all know Steve, his guy's Red Dog, Tim Ferry. Tim Ferry's second on that list. He's got 5 second place finishes and never won a Supercross. Guy Cooper's first on that list. He got second 6 times with no wins. And Hunter is now third on that list with 4 second places with no wins. So, AC, it's exactly the point. You nailed it. They're making graphics like this. We're putting it on the TV. We're talking about it. He just needs to get that. So that's more important than actually getting the win for points.
No doubt.
It's more important. So we can stop talking about it.
Well said. Yeah.
Does he need it? No. But for us to stop talking about it, yes.
Why do riders want foot pegs so sharp, and is it hard to move your foot with them when they are that sharp? Kind of a unique one. Just wanted your guys' opinion.
Yeah, whose bike was I just looking at the other day that had stock foot pegs on it? Whose bike was that? I was walking the pits. I think it was McElrath. don't quote me, but I think it was Shane McElrath that was running stock foot pegs because he doesn't like them that sharp or something. Well, but the main reason is so your foot doesn't slip. I mean, when you're in the whoops or like Tomac hitting the front brake this weekend, imagine if your foot pegs were really slippery and that your foot slid around it all the time, you'd hit the rear brake way more, you'd hit neutral way more, you'd shift down when you didn't want to. So the main thing is just to keep your foot in place where you want it.
Yeah, I mean, especially you're taught to ride on the balls of your feet. So if you're on the ball of your foot, you don't have a lot of surface area of your foot on the actual foot peg. So you need it to kind of be sticky, locked in, if you will.
All right. And then we saw Eli and Hunter getting a little bit more aggressive. Is it no more Mr. Nice Guy?
JB, I think it was more, I think it was more of a track thing. Like when you have, it's really difficult to make a very clean block pass on a track like that to me, because you're carrying so much speed into every turn. It's really, even if you're a half a bike length behind a dude, because you have so much speed coming into the corner, you can carry so much speed through. In order to actually make the pass, you got to chop off a lot of the turn in order to actually block somebody. That's my view.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. I also think it's just a competition thing. If you see an opening, you absolutely have to take it. I mean, we've seen Eli do it to Jason kind of uncharacteristically at Anaheim too. And I think it's, it goes back to what we're talking with Kenny about. I mean, Jason runs him a little bit wide, not really on purpose, and he gets passed by two guys, and it really defines your entire race, whether he wins or not. So I think a lot of it's just the competition level. We talk about it all the time. I don't know if we've ever seen it this packed at the front, 6 or 7 guys.
Yeah.
If you see an opening, you have to take it, because that opening may never come again.
You took the words right out of my mouth. It's like, you would love to be able, if it was, Cooper Webb versus Chase Sexton, and that's it, and that's all you're worrying about.
Yeah.
Then maybe you have a little leeway where you can kind of pick your spot, but you got to throw it in there. If you want to win this title, dude, you're going to have to make some margin calls.
Yeah.
Last one. Thoughts on the added sand, and is it better for more lines as the night goes on?
It seemed to work. Yeah. And look, I'm not going to question the Dirtworks guys anymore.
No, they're great.
They're so good. They just are. And, we can always talk about the tracks being better and bigger whoops and this and that, but the variety that they're throwing at these guys, I think is good. Yeah, I mean, they get a lot of crap that I don't think they necessarily deserve. And a lot of it's not their call either. So sometimes we're blaming them, or the riders are blaming them, or fans are talking about tracks. And they're not the end all be all. It's not like their decision and they're the ultimate decider that they put some certain section in there, or made the whoop small that weekend or big the next. I give them a lot of grace, man. I think they do a great job.
In general, don't you think? Even I was like a little bit critical. I said it earlier in the show, but not really critical, but on X, I posted like some notes, and I said, something about the track being easy. But isn't it interesting how even you saying the track crew guys do a great job? They're unbelievable at what they do. And let's not even talk about their travel schedule, dude. They go race to race all year. It's insane.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
But oftentimes, this is the same for any subject, really. It's like, yeah, we can all have an opinion about it, but ultimately they are the experts. Yeah. They have more information than us. Mm-hmm. They know things, little nuances that we don't. And so I guess you're still fine. Per free country, you can have your opinion, say it's a crappy track or whatever. But my thing is, as long as you're keeping yourself in check a little bit when you're giving criticism, and thinking to myself, well, I don't have all the cards here. I don't know what these guys know. I don't do what they do. So maybe there's something that they know that I don't. Mm-hmm. That is why it had to be this way. And not to say you still can't have your opinion and say the track's this way or that way. But to me, that is like the little awareness to me that just makes you a more well-rounded human.
Yeah, and one of those facts is, this is something that I didn't really take into equation when I was racing. There's the start, which even for in Houston this weekend, it's honestly not that big of floor space. So they've got to go down and back. Football field, typically you just go down and back. But so there's the starting gate. Then you have to leave room for the manager's tower, which is big. Then the AMA officials also have a tower. Then you have to leave room for the tower in the middle that shows who's on the leaderboard. And then you have to be a certain distance off of the wall. And that, like, there's all these measurements that go into why the track is the size it is. And then you have a certain amount of dirt. And then for different weather conditions through what they just had during the week, you got to apply sand potentially to it or to make it like there's so many different variables that you and I probably don't even know, which I know for sure we don't know all of them.
Yeah, for real.
So that's why, I mean, I just give them the benefit of the doubt, because I'll never forget showing up to Anaheim one year when it poured in Southern California for the whole week. And I was ready for a mutter, dude. I was doing mountain bike rides in the rain thinking I got to get ready. And I showed up and the track was just like, the track was perfect. And I'm like, I'll never question these guys again. Never question them again. So that's where I'm at.
Word. Well said, JB, as always.
Yeah. Shout out to our sponsors one more time. SKDA, Ogio. Go to ogiopowersports.com. Smartop and Firepower. Appreciate you guys. Also Fox for bringing Ken Roczen. That's it, AC. On to Glendale.
Another one in the books. Appreciate all our viewers and listeners. You guys are awesome. Let's keep it rolling.
See you.